So as Jeremy was saying, it's Rohit with me, which is there. He's going to come a little bit later. And me, David. And I want to introduce myself before I get into the actual workshop. So I don't know about you, but I feel like a Swiss Army knife because I have to know about tools. I have to know about, I have to be reading, I have to, everything. So in my team, they tell me that I'm a Swiss Army knife. Sorry. It's been like 2 years since I've done one of these, so I'm a little bit jet lagged and all of everything. Okay, so I'm from Barcelona. I traveled yesterday to be here with you today. And let's get to what we're going to cover today. The goal of this workshop is that we want to share a framework in which I can share some examples and ideas that will inspire you to gain these advantages that we were mentioning. Since this is a workshop, we're going to give you a couple of scenarios to work together and try to apply what I'm going to share with you and see if we could apply the learnings. And I just realized I can look here. Sorry. So ideally, you will leave this session today having some ideas that you can apply to your product and yeah, start gaining that advantage. Without wait, the 10 ways. As Jeremy was saying, the GAIN keyword in this sentence is capitalized because it's an acronym. So GAIN stands for growth, which is how to expand your optimization beyond the product analytics team. So you probably are working focused on just your product. There's other things outside of that. Acceleration. There's some limitations in our day-to-day. Sometimes we have limited people working on a given project. We have limited amount of money. So bringing external resources or tools can help us avoid this. Innovation. Who doesn't want to innovate, right? It sounds cool. I want to be the latest trendy and whatnot. So we will learn today that to do that, you need to get out of your comfort zone. And finally, new technology. So we all want the new technology. And we're going to get to that at the end and see if it's as new as I'm saying. OK, so let's start with growth, as promised. By the way, if I speak too quick, if you want to ask me a question, feel free. This is a workshop. It's not about me. It's about you. So let's see. I don't know if any of you is familiar with this. The curse of knowledge basically is that we are so ingrained into a product that we don't have perspective over it. So we're just seeing things one way. This curse makes it difficult for us to navigate our website like the first time. So we are so used that we know that we need to click here, here, here. So we have our path defined. We know the roadmap or the journey to purchase our products or how to sign up. So you need to try to imagine the first time that you visit the site. Now I'm going to show a picture that some of you might know, some of you might not. I hope that for most of you, this is a blurry picture and you cannot identify what's beyond it. So I'm going to ask you to, if you can raise your hand if you can figure out what is here in this gray. OK, so we have 1, 2, OK, 3. OK, few people. So now I'm going to show you that there's a cow. OK? And the curse of knowledge is that if I remove this outline, you're going to see the cow. And if I go back, you're going to see the cow every time. So now you're poisoned with knowledge. And this picture is a cow for you. How do we break free of it? Because again, if I go back, there's a cow. But 2 minutes ago, there was nothing. So it's pretty difficult to break free from it, or impossible sometimes. So ideally is bringing people, outsiders, that can have that fresh pair of eyes. So involving other departments from our company. Also, if we have limited people in our company, there's other exercises like focus groups, user testing, interviews, surveys, and probably many more. Happy to hear if you have any ideas that could help with this. So that's number one. Number two, search intent and SEM. And this is, if we remember what growth was, I told you that the idea is to involve other departments, other parts. So for this, if we are, as product managers, we're focused on the product. But what happens for a user to actually come and look at our website or our product? They probably use Google, as everybody today. So it is important to have, to take into consideration what we call search intent. If a user searches, and we have a couple of examples here for an alternative of Google, the idea is that we make sure that the user has the journey from search to our website, and the messaging is the same. So they have a 360 or full end-to-end experience. In this case, we have two examples. One is for GDPR, and the other is for privacy. Companies that are looking to own their data and whatnot. As you can see in these two examples, Piwik is doing a great job of pushing the first advertising to continue the messaging that the user is seeing. Now, the third one, and probably most of you will be familiar with this. After all, I'm not inventing anything. I'm just bringing some knowledge. This is the decoy effect. So as you can see here, we have two products. We have a basic plan, and we have a starter plan. The basic has two features, whatever, but not the third one. And the starter plan has three. If our users, so if a user comes to our site and wants to buy our product, if they need the third feature that is on the starter plan, they're going to buy it. Otherwise, they're going to stick with the basic. The price difference is $5. So that feature really needs to be super interesting for them to buy. Now, if we increase the number of choices by adding a third product, you can push them to go for the other product. So we can increase the average order value or the monthly recurring revenue based on this. So now we added an advanced plan. It's extremely expensive. It's $20 versus $5, that was the basic. And it has a couple more features than the basic. But now our users are facing to another scenario. The difference between the basic and the starter is just $5. It's not that bad, because the difference between the basic and the advanced is $15. So users will be pushed, and this is happening all over. You probably have seen it before. Users are more prone to go for the starter because they feel like they're getting more for their money, which they are. And if there's a user that wants this feature, they can go and have it, but this is probably going to be the least of them. So that's for growth. Questions, comments? No? OK. Good. Let's go to acceleration. I like the clicking. Now I get OK, keeping it simple. And in order to accelerate, it makes a lot of sense. Let's not overcomplicate things. And it's especially interesting when our users are actually, when we want our users to perform an action on our website, finishing a transaction, sending a lead, anything, we want to make sure that there are no barriers and that to make it super easy for them. And now is where I need some help, because I'm going to show you a bad experience. I don't know, perhaps some of you have seen this website, how I experienced the web today. And this is just a mock-up site that I don't know, a developer put together, I guess, to showcase how our users are browsing the web today. Let's see if it loads. The idea is to travel from Google until, I think it's a purchase. It's not working.
Yeah, this laptop's not on the internet, so you have to give me a few minutes to get it back.
OK, so let's do something. I'm going to continue. Can I continue, or?
Yeah.
No, I cannot. OK, I thought about this, and I thought I should come with some jokes, but I didn't. So sorry. Yeah, jet lag. So let's see. But basically, the idea is to show what I was saying, and then I'm going to show a couple of examples of not so bad experiences. And I cannot continue, but in summary, our users, when they come to the site, the first thing that they usually see is the cookie pop-up. Accept cookies, and sometimes it takes the whole screen. OK, accept. Then is, do you want notifications? I don't even know you, and you want me to already sign up for you? That's how it is. No, I don't. Special offer. OK, but I'm new. I don't even know you. So that's kind of, in a really visual way, what that website is showcasing. And if we can, OK. Oh, I don't have the power of the clicker anymore? No? OK, so perhaps later I can show that site. If not, you can take well, this clicker not working. I really lost the power. OK. OK, yes. So as I was saying, if you want to just take the URL and try it, feel free. It's a really, really bad experience. But you need to think that our users are suffering from it, and sometimes we don't realize. As you know, we want to market a new product. OK, let's put a banner here. Let's do that. How are our users feeling? And is it having an impact in their conversions? An easy way, well, nothing is easy, sorry. No, but something that we need to think about is how we treat our different users, new versus returning. Somebody that—
Good afternoon, everyone. Just to give you a heads up, the Speckit workshop is about to begin in the Invest workshop room on the 5th floor. Please make your way over to Invest.
Okay.
The workshop is about to begin. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you want, I don't know what it was. So what I was saying, sorry. What I was saying, oh, it worked. Yes, we made it. Perfect. OK, so this is Google, right? You search something. Then if you click on, then it shows me something. Yes, perfect. OK. Yeah, I think if it doesn't work, it's OK. I already explained it. So, I mean, so as I was saying, you have the cookies. Now if you click accept, or edit, but accept, notifications, if you allow or not, whatever you want. So the browser is continuously pushing. You can say yes, subscription, because we want their email. We're thinking, and we don't even know them. No, say no. Sometimes we have ad blogs. And then so, you know, exactly. So that's kind of the, and then of course, oh, you have the, I forgot about the chatbot that we have here. So, and rate your experience. So it's, yeah, it's like a circus, right? So we need to be careful with the experience that our users have when they visit our site. Perfect, yes, if we can go back to the, perfect, thank you. OK, so I wanted to highlight, I don't know if it's one or two, but experience. And this is, this web page had a blurb of text. And I forgot to put the control, sorry. So it was just text, explaining everything. So this whole content was a big piece of text. They had a high bounce rate. People were leaving because they didn't find what they wanted. So they stayed in Google searching for this. So by changing the content into an accordion way, it's more structured. And users feel more interested in, or it's more easy for them to learn more. Another good experience, for example, this is good because I want to buy, and the options are pretty easy. I don't have a big form yet. I will find it probably because at the end I need to give my address, right, if I want the shoes. but it's pretty easy for me to understand what I need to do in order to continue on my journey to purchase. What I was kind of hinting before is relevance to each user. So we treat everybody the same. They come to our website and they see the same experience, but they're different. We don't all have the same needs. I might be looking at your product because I don't know, and somebody else has a completely different need. So what we need to do is be relevant. And this is where we can use a tool like VWO, for example, to actually segment our content. And in this super simple paint graphic, you can see that we're just changing part of the website. It's not like going overboard, because remember, keep it simple. I'm not going to change the whole experience for you yet, but I'm going to adapt. Are you a first user? Let's not ask you anything. Let's just show you why should you come with us. And if I know that you've come from a Google search for a specific term, perhaps I can tailor my content to make sure that the story that was in your head when you were searching is still there, right? Anybody knows about Hippos? So Hippos is the highest paid person opinion. And this is usually how a lot of organizations work. There's a hippo, and everything has to be like they want to be. And I think that's bad. That's not a good option, because sometimes these persons are disconnected from what's going on the day-to-day. And that's why involving the rest of the team, as I was saying on the first point on growth, and also using technologies to talk to our users, get feedback, try things out, makes a lot of sense. So the idea is being able to prioritize, and this word, sorry, my accent, this word is really hard on me, prioritize, did it right, our ideas, because we want to try things out, change content. We have a lot of ways of, as you saw, kind of converting the page into a circus, but we need to know which ones make sense and why. So you can start just working on whatever you feel you should, or whatever the Hippo tells you, or there are prioritization systems. There are many. We like to work with one that's called ICE scoring. This is helpful to make informed decisions based on data. In my company, we like to be super data-driven. Everything is data. This is the ICE scoring. This is another acronym. Impact, confidence, and ease. And this is a prioritization framework based on points. So we have 3 variables. The first is impact. How much impact do we think this action, this idea, is going to have? Is it going to have low impact because I'm just changing a text on a page that nobody visits? Or I'm changing the main landing page hero banner with something crazy? Probably that's going to have a highest impact, for the better or the worst. We don't know yet. The next one is confidence, which is how confident I am that this is going to succeed for a positive outcome. And then ease. How easy it is for us to implement this change. Do I need to involve 10 developers? Do I need to find a designer to redo everything? Is it going to be 3 months? Or is it just a simple change that can be done in a couple of days? This is the table. So basically, the way the ICE scoring, and you can Google, there's a lot of literature about it. The way it works is that you use points for each of these 3 variables. I like, and I didn't include it here, I like to use the Fibonacci sequence because the further you go, the higher the score, the more impact it has in the score. I'm a little bit of a freaky, but it's fine. You can use 1 to 5. That's up to you. The only thing that is important to take with the ICE scoring is that the impact and confidence, low is bad, high is good. So 5 impact is that I'm confident that it's going to have an impact. 13 in confidence, I'm using the Fibonacci sequence. is that it has even more. I'm super confident that whatever idea it is, it's going to make it. And finally, is. This is the opposite. Higher is worse. So in this example, 1 is that it's super simple. It was change checkout form elements. OK, so super simple for whatever reason. The developer, usually the easy is you need a technical person to tell you how hard it is to do. The developer decided that it was super easy. So we have the score, and then it's just a matter to taking the ones and the highest score and start. Does this idea align with your company goals? Yes or no? If it doesn't, then I don't know why is it there to begin with. But if it is, go for it. Okay, so that way you can plan, you can have a schedule based on data, not just on a heap. Okay? And I love this. Once you have your ideas mapped out with your numbers, you can use this magic quadrant to see what they are. Are there ideas that are low impact but are quick? So, OK, it's going to be easy. Let's do them. Because at least they're not going to take a lot of time. Or high impact and slow implementation. Perhaps we can have a team working, but we know that eventually it will happen. So this can help you decide if you need to go for something or wait. OK, good. Innovation. We all want to innovate, right? We don't want to be the old ones using old technology and old. But innovation is not easy. Our recommendation, my recommendation, is that if you are trying things and everything is working for you and you're succeeding all the time, you're not getting out of your comfort zone. Yes, you are improving, but you're not innovating. To innovate, you need to fail. And you need to be bold enough to try things that are outside of your spectrum. And here I like to, I don't think I have a picture, but one of our clients, we proposed, for whatever reason, that we believe that having a pink CTA on their homepage, and this was a big company, super serious and whatnot, grayish colors, and our team decided to suggest that having a big pink CTA would be interesting. Of course, all the C-level were like, no way. They were hippos. So we pushed and we tried. Now this company has pink in their company palette because it worked. And the numbers were like, OK, we're making more money. Let's keep it. So that was getting out of their comfort zone, or at least we went. Recommendation is to have a KPI to track the number of failures. That way you can see if you're progressing and you're trying to do things outside of your comfort zone. So I have a couple of examples of failures with some learnings. So for example, this one is for an e-commerce. And this, and I know I have samples of e-commerce and other things. It's product-led, I know, but it is what I have. And this is, basically they decided to remove 2 payment options. So they had this, I don't know what service was it, that was getting a lot of returns and cancellations. So they decided, OK, if we remove this payment method, we're not going to get those cancellations. So people are going to buy and keep it. OK, the hypothesis was good. But once they did and they tried, it was a test, they realized that they were getting less conversions. So yes, there were less cancellations, but overall the amount of order and transactions was lower. So they had to roll back and put the payment method again. And similar, this is with VWO, they wanted to add an exit intent to capture content leads. So people that was after learning more about the optimization ecosystem. Their hypothesis was that once they had their emails from cataloged as content leads, they could push them into a marketing qualified lead. So these are the numbers. So the content leads increased as expected because the idea was not bad. However, there was a decrease in MQLs. And it was complicated or really hard to convert those content leads into MQLs. So basically, they decided the learning, it was a failure, and it was a learning on trying to try different variations of that same exit pop-up. This was a form. The idea behind this is if I transform this boring form on the left, super traditional, into an amazing, exciting wizard, people are going to be super excited to spend $2,000 here. Well, it turns out that no, that was not the case. People preferred the old version. But again, this was getting out of their boring, old way of doing things. We tried, we failed, we learned. So we adjust the form not to be as ugly, but still a form. That's it. So, number 8, 360 connection. User journeys are complex, starting by the fact that user visits to our website are complex, as we saw before. But users can come from different sources, and they can perhaps land on our site, read, leave, receive an email, or so it's super complicated, and perhaps they end up purchasing our product 3 weeks after the first landing. So it can look like this, crazy. So that's why it's important to measure everything. I mentioned that everything is about data. So integrating all your online experience with offline transactions. If you have a call center that people can call to subscribe, or they can call to ask questions, are you tracking that? Do you have a special number for people that come from a specific marketing campaign, so you can track back how well it went? And taking this information and bringing it into your dashboard is key to see the full picture of the user journey. Yeah, so for example, with BWO, you can plug more than 40 different connections to have everything measured, which is important. OK, now it's new technology. I'm going to go on to the next slide, and you're going to think, David, this is not new technology. You're bullshitting me. And I'm going to say, yes, I am. No, I'm not. Because it's not about new technology. What is new technology? I don't know. It doesn't exist yet. So let's think about this. It's not about the technology, but it's about how we use it. So you're going to see here, there's a lot of different devices. So the first top is digital signage. I heard, I haven't seen it because I haven't been in the US for a while, that now in Walgreens or those convenience stores, there's freezers with a screen, a TV screen instead of a glass door. So you don't see the product, you see whatever they want you to see. So is it relevant for you? Perhaps. You perhaps want to be there. There might be an option. Podcasting. It's been there for a while, so it's not new. I know, I've been listening to podcasts for a long time. But is it a relevant channel for you to preach your product, to talk to, of course, smart TVs? They're becoming smarter, or dumber perhaps, I don't know. But there's an opportunity there. And finally, and I think of all of them, this is the new one, the Alexas or Google Pods, whatever they're called, the voice-activated devices. And yeah, these are becoming more and more inside our lives. They're part of our homes. They're listening to all we say. So do we want Alexa or Google to answer appropriately when somebody asks for something our product could solve? And we work with a couple of clients on adding their products, which were not easy to sell on this channel, but at least they're there. The investment was not high, but they're there. It's a new channel. If something comes out of it, it's great. If not, low investment, but be everywhere. And yes, I know, it's not new technology. Sorry. And Session recording, and this we have an example. So, and with this one, I wanted to come full circle to the cow that we see, the curse of knowledge. One way for us to actually break free, I mentioned, was talking to our users and understanding what's going on. Session recording can help with that, basically. We can see how our users are operating our website, and they are not as good as us because they don't know the site. But just a final word of advice is that information overload is real. So we have data everywhere. Now there's a lot of talking about data quality because we have so much data that we know what we can believe or not. And then just for me, these are 4 questions that I think are important. When we are seeing a user session recording, we need to think if it's only happening to the specific user, or is everybody's having that issue, that problem, or if we see that they're having problems doing something, but is it affecting our KPIs, or is it just a page that we don't care about? Also, is this time sensitive? Do I need to go now? And also, the most important is if it's our target customer. And our target customer is something, I said 10 ways. I had 11. And one of them was how to identify a target customer. It was cool, but it got off last minute. But that's important. So we need to understand when we are analyzing data, be it in a session recording, Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, whatever tool you use, Piwik that I mentioned, I'm a fan. We need to understand who are we analyzing that data for. Is it a nobody that just landed on our site by accident, or is somebody that is ready to actually purchase our product? So now, since this is a workshop, wow, we have a lot of time. Good, I was quick. The idea is that we work together. If you want, of course. I'm not going to make anybody. I put together a couple of scenarios for you. So this is Isabella. It's a perfectly generated image from an artificial intelligence. This is how it came. It's not even real. Now, but the scenario is she manages the Nilo platform. And I didn't mention, I'm from Making Science, and we are a digital agency, but we also have product. So we have different products. So that's why we know a little bit about both worlds. And well, the scenario is that Isabella manages Nilo. Nilo is a CMS platform for e-commerce. It's like a Magento, different than Magento, but similar. And basically, she has a website, nilocommerce.com. Traffic is not good. She's not reaching the business goals because she's not selling. A lot of bounce rate. And it's a split between new and returning visitors. The goal of the next 5 to 10 minutes, this is Nilo. We have another exercise, is if you can group to go over this website, take a look, think about the GAIN framework, the 4 pillars, if we want to call them pillars, and what do you think we could do? The idea is that each group comes up with 4 ways to implement this framework to help Isabella. Are you okay, guys, to work on that? Or if not, I can look for jokes, start. So the idea is that we do that, and we spend like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then come together with what you found. I have done the homework before, so I have 4 things for Isabella. For the next case, which is harder, I don't have 4. I have 0. So yeah, let's go to it. nilocommerce.com. Okay, guys. So I think it's been a while. I've been talking with some of you, and I know that some of you have and others haven't actually worked on Isabella's problem. But that's good. I want to show you what I have. Okay. Don't cheat. Don't copy. I mean, it's easy and basic. I told you. But the way I structure this, there's no one solution. But how I will attack this problem would be one idea for each of the 4 pillars, right? So some of you have done well and went to Google And you probably have seen that there's no SEM campaigns focused on search intent and then landing page continuing. So that's something that I would like to do. Then content, the page, and I will listen to you, Robin, so get ready. But the content is bland. It's for everybody's going to see the same. So it's not tailored. That will help with acceleration. Innovation, again, website is super basic. It's mostly text and pictures. So why don't we add a video? New technology. No. And then for new technology, they are not using, and I know for a fact they're not, a tool like VWO Insights and start analyzing what's going on with the user. So this is it's not easy because, for example, we'll need to get the technology or we'll need to create the video. So perhaps we could use the prioritization framework that I mentioned to see which of these things could we attack first. Also, these ones, perhaps we could divide them into more smaller tasks to get going, like creating success stories is easier and things like that. So now it's time. You got your hands dirty. And I would like to hear some of the ideas that you have or some of the problems that you've identified and how would you fix them if you want. So who wants to talk? Come on. You've done the work. Okay, you.
So, say like...
Microphone.
Sorry. One thing that I was thinking about is that when you go on the site, the first thing you see is that the demo button is really prominent in your face.
Okay.
Instead of going straight about the product and its values, or it just goes straight to doing a demo, which is still fine. But when you click on the demo button, it's a form. I think that we can increase conversions by tackling this area of friction by implementing a new technology like Calendly or something else so that users can directly enter,
So scheduling a demo
they can
instead
schedule
of...
an event with the sales rep. So that would actually help with conversions rather than like, the old school, this is a form and we'll reach out to you. So that's one area I thought that we could do a little bit of improvement.
I like that. And you know what I like about it? Is
What?
that it's probably super easy to implement because it's just adding a link to a Calendly with whatever sales rep we want. So good point. Where would you put it here on the pillar? Which one do you think it covers?
It's a combination. So I would add it to both new technology and I'm struggling with it. But I think growth as well
Okay.
might be either growth or accelerate, but definitely new technology and one of the two.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Who else? Come on, don't be shy. I'm the one that's up here. Okay, you wait for the microphone.
I guess some of the observations we made in our group when you went to the website, we saw the content in Spanish. So in terms of analyzing user behavior, if the problem again is, there's bounce rate and the behavior is kind of distributed amongst the existing audience and newcomers, I think it's important to understand who is the audience and what language they need to be able to see the content in, and if that's contributing to the problem. So we talked about localization of making sure that based on where the user is located geographically, the content displays in that appropriate language. We also noticed we have different screen sizes, and for those of us that had a bigger phone, the website rendered really well. And for myself, I have a smaller phone. It was very glitchy, and it made me not want to continue scrolling.
And that is a good point, because remember that I was talking in new technology. One of the questions is this a one-user problem or a...
Yeah.
So perhaps a lot of people that visit this website has small phones, or perhaps you are just one among the rest. So analyzing that...
You need to analyze that.
Exactly.
And then the other thing was when you went to the website, again, the call to action was for the demo, and I think it's very much oriented towards a newer audience base, but there isn't a place that speaks out to the existing audience base, to sign in or to do, to really engage with whatever it is they need to do. So it seemed like it was more oriented towards one audience than another. So that could also be contributing something to analyze.
Okay. Perfect. No, that's great. Good. Anybody else? Yes, please.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm so rude. I don't even know your name. Do you know mine? So sorry for asking if you want to introduce yourself and your things.
I'm Rashmi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Rasmina.
I think we found a lot, but to keep it simple, we wanted to
Keep it simple.
keep it simple in that way. To add on to the language thing, I think if you may not even have to go that extra step of finding their geographic location. Instead of asking me, do you want a demo or not, you could just ask me, do you want this page in English or Spanish? And then I could pick one
Okay.
based on my liking. So that's one way to maybe customize it right up front. And then the other things, as we were scrolling down, there was a lot of text. And there was also in that one little section, like animation, like when you would scroll, it would show, the colors would show, the text colors would change. Like you don't need to make it that complicated.
Okay, so
either-
simplifying the
yeah,
user experience
simplifying.
and adding, simplifying but adding more interesting content. You're saying that it's too bloated with text and it might be a blocker, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
And then did you want to?
We have an,
So regarding to like new customer acquisition, in addition to like the demo, I was also thinking the building app, like just an earlier company, like so that you can, because I noticed that the bounce rate is high. That probably means like the content isn't attractive enough, or like so basically you can have that building app message app so that they can ask you questions.
okay, so you think of implementing new technology like a chatbot?
Yes, a chat box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, great. That's new technology. Great. So, I mean, we're running out of time, actually. And I had another one of these, and it was a good one. This is Edu, another artificial intelligence generated image, picture. So actually, and we don't have time, unfortunately, to go over it, but if you want to take a look at atmachina.com with a dash, you will see a completely different experience. And that's what I was looking after, is that you see a product that is working really hard on the online experience and capturing the points that we were mentioning today versus a product that it's not so strong on this, perhaps because they rely on different strategies and their online presence is not as good. Their ways of making business is different. They have sales representatives that get ingrained into other projects. So the website for them is not as important as it is for a product like Atmachina. But again, if you want to take a look, it's interesting. And I think that as a closure, Rahid wanted to talk a little bit about this. Well, the problem is that this is not my slide, so you're getting me in. I can read, but I don't like to read. So, you sure you don't want to? You're okay? You're shy? Come on, Rahid. You were introduced. No? Okay. So, the last point is, I've mentioned a couple of times about experimentation, and I forgot to ask you, because I was a little bit nervous, if you knew what experimentation is actually. Perhaps you're not familiar with it. Hopefully you are. And if not, I recommend to look at VWO. Basically, it's how to test things to a segment of our users. And something that we can use experimentation tools like VWO is the feature flagging to release features into the wild just to specific segments and specific times. Finally, some of the capabilities of VWO is allowing omni-channel experimentation, so not only your website and your website on your phone, but also you can test on apps, feature flags, what I was mentioning, and this is super interesting. If you want to release a feature on your product, but you're too afraid, using a solution, and this is technical, but using feature flag can help. Targeting and personalization that I mentioned today is just, and we have the basic new users versus a returning, but we can get much more complex into tailoring to the personas that are relevant for us, analytics and KPIs. And I think that, this is about what we have, right? Or I don't know this slide, sorry. So it's okay. Thank you for your time. If you have questions, I'm here. Yeah. Thanks.